Hello, welcome to the Dr. Lee Hildebrand YouTube channel today. I'm going to be addressing a topic that has a lot of relevance to all of us as we're seeking to get things done in our lives. Many times I hear from people that there are challenges that they experience in regard to doing so. One of those challenges that I often hear about is people feeling like they just have too much to do. There's so many things on their plate that they don't have time to get to it. A second one that I often hear is people feeling like they just don't know what to do first. They have a plethora of things that they're looking at, and they just don't know which one's more important than another. A lot of competing types of things on their to-do list. And number three, many people feel it's just very hard to get started. They start to look at some of the things that they need to do, or maybe they look at some hard tasks that they have in their lives and become frustrated with not knowing how to really get started. I often hear people say, once I get started, I can really get after it and I can get this done. But it's just so hard to get started. So what I want to do today in this video, focused on how you can get things done, how to become more effective in this area, is to give you 8 tips that can assist as you're looking to improve this area of your life. Let's start with number 1. Regarding this realm of getting things done, I like to look at tasks or things in life that we need to get done as circles. And if you look at your life, if a task is not yet done, it's what I call an open circle. It's hanging out there in our lives. We might have a circle here, one here, here, in different domains of our life. And the principle here is you can only psychologically handle so many circles that are open. So the key here is, how do we find ways to close some of the circles, to get things done, to complete tasks, so that we don't feel the psychological stress from having so many of them open. Now, sometimes people can really struggle with starting to work on this circle over here, but not quite getting it closed, not quite completing it, and then starting another circle here, and then another task over here. And they can have dozens of tasks that they get started, but they do not close a circle. So think about your task list as partially open circles. And what's going to help you start to get momentum is starting to see some of them completed or closed, even if they're not really monumental, if they're smaller tasks, to be able to get them closed. So think about your life in circles and start to look at which circles do I need to start to close first. I need to get some of the circles off of the whiteboard here in regard to the number that I have to deal with. Number 2, do not let the urgent overrule the important. This can be one of the great challenges that we have, is deciding what's the most important thing to do when I look at this task list. Now, this is crucial because a lot of times the urgent will try to crowd out the important. In fact, many people in your life may be saying to you, look, you really need to get this done, or I really need your attention over here, or I need you to do this. And for some people, it can be very difficult to say no or not yet. So it's crucial in your mind that you take a look at the things that you have to do in your life, and you make sure, according to your values, what the most important are. Now, sometimes these intersect, and the most important thing needs to get done in a timely manner, and it has urgency to it too. And for a lot of people, that can help. I've had many people tell me that it's very hard to get certain things done unless they have that kind of pressure. So once in a while, the pressure of something that's important becoming urgent from a time standpoint can help with that momentum. Number 3, keep a detailed calendar and a goals list in your life. No matter what kind of format works best for you, it could be a paper calendar like an at-a-glance calendar. I use a weekly at-a-glance. Some people use a monthly at-a-glance. Some people use various kinds of planners. Many people use their cell phone. They use Google Calendar, they use Outlook, and different kinds of tools to organize their life. One thing that is for sure is we cannot organize our schedules or our lives just in our heads. Sometimes people will try to say that they keep track of things there, and it's just not realistic. We have too many things, too many inputs, too much stimulation to be able to try to keep track of the things that we need to remember on a daily or a weekly or a monthly basis. So get a system that's going to work best for you in your circumstances or your approach, and use it. Use that consistently. Also, develop task lists, develop goals lists. These are going to give you guidelines in regard to the things that you don't want to forget that you know that you need to get to. For example, for me, I will do task lists according to category. I'll have a personal one, I'll have a business one, I'll have things related to family, I'll have kind of a maintenance task list in regard to, property issues that I need to deal with. Well, what this does is it helps me to look at some of these most important responsibility domains in my life. And if there's something I know I need to get to, I can't get to it right now, I put it on this list and it's there. It's not going to go away, and I'm going to be able to revisit and look at it and then prioritize and decide which things on these lists are more important than another on a given day. Number 4, do the hard things first. This can be really crucial when we're taking a look at a list of things to do, or we're starting our day off and we think about the things that we need to get done. At times, people will do what's called procrastination, and we all know what that word means. It's just putting something off till later. It's kicking the can down the road. Instead, if we're able to take the hardest thing on first, then we can start to get momentum, and the momentum will help us with other least or less difficult things on our list in a given day. For myself, I try to do the hardest thing first in my day, and quite frankly, that is intensive exercise somewhere toward the beginning of the day. And I literally get to experience the endorphins that go with that, and I can feel that momentum. And I'll often say, even to some of my workout or run buddies, to say, hey, we've got the hardest thing done first at the beginning of the day. It's going to be downhill from here. So that, of course, is a mentality. It's a way of starting to get some momentum and then be fired up about the other things that I need to get to in that day. Number 5, get at least 1 or 2 small administrative things done in your life every day. Now, what are administrative things? I'm talking about these rote tasks. It's paying bills, going through your mail, making sure that the trash gets out, following up on that medical bill, scheduling that appointment with that doctor that you need to, following up on insurance, taking care of your taxes, these kinds of sort of just necessary things in regard to living and functioning life in the United States or abroad that we have to do. So what can happen to people is these tasks are not really the most fun things to do in their lives, and they can put them off. The mail will begin to pile up. The bills will begin to pile up. Maybe even the dishes will begin to pile up. The laundry will begin to pile up. So if you can look to get at least 1 or 2 of these administrative type tasks in a day, then you will start to steady plod over time and be able to maintain a reasonable list size in regard to these kinds of tasks. You're not going to feel like you're getting behind. You're not going to feel like you're getting in a hole. Now, you don't have to get 5, you don't have to get 20 done every day. If you can just kind of keep in mind, in addition to your career or your work stuff and your main relationship realms of life, if you can get 1 or 2 of these things done in a day, it really will help you continue to stay away from procrastination, and it will not allow for these little administrative tasks to nip at your heels in your life. Number 6 is develop and talk about your goals. Be intentional about what kinds of things that you're trying to accomplish overall. Are you trying to become, at a certain level in your career field? Are you trying to improve your marriage relationship or other relationships to have certain aspects to it that are better? Are you trying to improve your health and your fitness? Are you trying to accomplish maybe getting a second home someday, or maybe getting the kind of car that you would like? There's all kinds of these domains in regard to goal setting. So it's important to take some time and set some goals so that you can know why you're doing what you do, why you're working as hard as you do, why you're doing the things that you do. And then you can structure your approach to your day, your week, and your month as it relates to these goals. Now, for myself, my wife and I, once a year, we develop goals for the entire year. It's usually toward the beginning of the year, and we do it in domains. Take a look at, what are my roles as a father this year? What are my roles as a husband? What are my roles as a clinic owner? What are my roles as a speaker? What are my roles as an athlete, if you will, or in terms of health and fitness? What are my roles in regard to maintaining? What are our goals in terms of vacation this year? Etc. So we try to look at it in terms of domains and roles that we have. And then we literally write down in a document what those goals are in each area, and we go through them together, and we talk about them, we plan them. And then what we do is, when we have a budget meeting, which is very helpful too, once a month, we'll review our goals. And the main purpose there is, are the tasks that we're doing, are the areas that we're focusing on in our days, aligning with that goal? So that's really important in terms of having some intentionality about why you do what you do. Number 7, talk nice to yourself. Narrative is everything. Some of us, when we're trying to accomplish tasks or make progress in our lives, can be very derogatory toward ourselves. When we experience a setback, or we don't do something as well as we'd hoped, we can be very negative and just say some very cruel things to ourselves. All of us talk to ourselves. We all know it. It might even be in our minds and not even verbal. But many times, if other people were able to witness or observe the kind of content that we think about when we get down on ourselves, it would be rather embarrassing. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemies. Start to change that in your life. You have permission. It's the right thing to do. It's not selfishness to be kind to yourself. It's self-care. It's important. The level of care that you're able to ascribe to yourself, the level of compassion that you're able to ascribe to yourself, you will be able to translate that into other people. The opposite is true if you're beating up on yourself all the times and having these negative thoughts in regard to yourself. It's going to be much harder to really truly love other people. You might be able to be courteous and nice at a superficial level, but you're not going to be able to really care about them and offer those things to other people if you're not practicing and learning how to experience that yourself. And number 8, this one's important, is start each day new. Every day is fresh. Every day is a new opportunity. Regardless of what happened to you yesterday or last week or last month, you can start your day over today. If you had a few setbacks, talk through what you can learn in regard to the setbacks. Let them go. Focus on what you can do today. If you didn't get much of anything done yesterday, let it go. What can you get done today? If you skipped your workout yesterday or the past week, let it go. Today's a new day. Let's start today. This is a really helpful principle in regard to your mental disciplines in getting things done, because what can happen is people can struggle over a few days and not getting things done and start to catastrophize, start to talk derogatorily toward themselves, to beat themselves up and feel discouraged and just say, fine. In their minds, they say, fine, forget it. I'm just going to procrastinate some more. I'm not going to get that stuff done anyway. Why should I even try? And they start to create a pattern that can last for days, sometimes weeks, and what it does is it digs the hole deeper, and it perpetuates that cycle of not getting done what they want to get done. So you can start your day over at any time in this process. You can do this at 10 a.m. if you had a couple setbacks earlier in the day. And what you can do is say, I'm going to start it over. Okay, it was a rough start to the morning. I'm going to give myself compassion and grace, and I'm going to hit the reset button. I'm going to draw another line in the sand, and I'm going to get this one circle closed before lunch. Or I'm going to get this circle closed before dinner, and start to make progress. One of the biggest things that can lead to progress is action steps. One of the biggest things that can turn down the dial on your anxiety about these things is action steps. Just starting to work on one of the circles. If you can hit the hardest things first at the beginning of a day, great. If you're not feeling that resilience on a given day and you need to take the simplest thing and just close that circle to just start to get a little bit of momentum, do that. You definitely can become a person. If you believe in this and if you have the motivation to get better at this, you can do it. I hope that this has been helpful in looking at some of the angles that you can take to approach improving your ground game, so to speak, in regard to completing tasks, in regard to getting things done in your life that can help you move toward some of the goals that you have and that you want to accomplish. So thank you for tuning in today. Please feel free to like my video today. Love it if you subscribe to the channel. And my main goal is if I helped even one person today with this process, I'm satisfied. In fact, that's closing a circle for me today. I hope that person is you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks again.